And plus, since this is first session, so it will help you to understand the concept as well. Okay, so it is MBA 909 Data Analytics. We have looked at the course outline that you will be covering primarily 3 assessments throughout the semester. And I will keep informing you how to submit those assignments. But for that, you need to develop the concepts of the data analytics. Now, these are your unit learning outcomes. Okay, I will highly encourage that you read all of them in your own time. Okay. We had a quick overview of the course. We talked about the assessments and how we are going to execute the course. Most of the assessments, they are individual, okay, but you have to pick up the topic, the research topic of your own interests, because assessment 1, 2, 3, and then presentation, they all cover they all work around the same topic. So you have to carefully select that topic. Okay, let's look at, yeah, so they are described here as well. Yeah, as I said, initially it was assessment 3 and 4, but now they have merged. So the one in the unit outline is the correct version. So follow that. Probably your unit coordinator will update, the course coordinator, they are going to update this table as well. But your timeline will remain same, week 3, 7, and week 10 and 11 you are presenting, and week 12 is your report submission. These are the prescribed textbooks. You can check them in the library. Okay, now let's start with what is data analytics first. Okay, so any understanding about data analytics? Anything that you were thinking while you enrolled for the unit? What do you think? What is meant by data analytics? Online students, you can respond as well. So what is meant by data analytics? What do you think we are going to study about? Yeah, anyone? Come on, you can use AI to check as well what's meant by data analytics. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like the analysis of data is given to make like a certain decisions.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you're analyzing data to make decisions. Okay, good. Yes. Anyone else? Face-to-face students? Yeah.
That's what's on my mind, actually. So about analysis.
Analysis. You are analyzing the data set.
Yeah.
What would
all
be?
of the techniques,
Yeah.
techniques, tools, and technologies which are used from the recording of
Mm-hmm.
start from the recording of the data to the end toward the on the finishing point. I mean, which usually ends on the decision making
Mm-hmm.
part.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. So if you imagine your day while you're coming up here to campus, um, every morning once we wake up, you are leaving impressions of data somewhere. You have your mobile phone with you, right? So either you reply to certain messages, then you jump on a train. Okay, so you start from a certain station, you finish at certain point, or you take bus, or you are even if you are driving, you are taking certain routes and then moving around. So you're leaving those impressions. So if you are taking a train, you're leaving that impression that one of the Opal customer has started from particular station and finished at this particular station. If you are taking bus, obviously, again, one particular bus stop you have started, but another one you have stopped. If you are driving, you're leaving that impression that a vehicle has been added onto the route and we have congestion. If there are lots of vehicles around you, it will help you to it will help Google Maps, sorry, or the maps to generate information that where is congestion, okay, and what are the fastest route. They will make a decision based on that, okay. So, and even when you walk inside the building, you are being monitored by security cameras, okay. So the form of the data that is being generated is in different forms, okay. Either you are just a row in an Excel file that passenger is added on from one stop to another, or another row for the bus stop thing, or another row for the Google for the map thing that a vehicle has been added, or there is a visual recording that an individual is walking into the building, and this is the time frame that individual is walking in for a class and they are arriving in this particular room. Okay, so you can see lots of data is generated every single day, and the objective is obviously the purpose of those cameras is security, right? The key objective is security, but they are never dumped anywhere, rather they are being recorded. Okay, so this form of data is called the unstructured data, but we still have data. Okay, similarly, you go to a grocery store, you go and you purchase milk, butter, and eggs. Okay, so you add that to the cart, you sign out, you are again generating that data for the grocery store as well as for yourself. You get a receipt that this is your receipt, this is the transaction that you have done. If you want to come back and exchange, you can do that at any time. Okay, so lots of data you can see in your surroundings is being generated. The purpose of data analytics is that, okay, fine, we are having this information generated, people are walking around in the building, we need to record that for security purposes. What can we do with this data? Okay, so if an incident happens, we can go back, reverse, rewind, check, double check what has happened and build the story, right? Plus, what else can be done? Okay, so we use that data to analyze certain aspects. Okay, so one of the key aspect where we don't want to disturb people and go and ask them, how was your Sydney train experience? Which station are you departing from every single morning? Which station do you go to? What's your destination station? So instead of going and knocking and asking everyone and disturbing, you have data. Okay, so Opel customers are tagging on, tagging off every single day. If you need to check how many customers they are coming into Vineyard Station, what is the importance of Vineyard or Town Hall Station or Central, you can figure that out, how many consumers they have tagged off. Okay, so if there was a delay in the trains, then how did it impact? Okay, so once we get the data, we get lots of dimensions to study from that data. Okay, so, and we do not require to go back and ask people certain questions. You know how difficult it is nowadays to intercept with someone, sit down and borrow their time to even ask whether they are satisfied with a particular service or not. Okay, so some of the for example, big chain of stores, they are relying on consumer expressions when they are walking outside, for example, Woolworth or Coles. Do they look satisfied? Do they look accomplished, or they are irritated, or what? They are even relying on those facial expressions to study rather than just asking them or bombarding them with the question set that how was your experience? What went wrong? What went right? That's another dimension of analysis. But one of the dimension is how many products are being sold out, okay? Plus, how many consumers are walking out happily, okay? So they are relying on that visual data as well, the videos that are being generated to analyze consumer behavior, okay? So once we get data set, we look at that data and we try to ask certain questions. What can we ask this data set? Because instead of asking an individual, you can ask the data set. But the question arises, how do I ask data? Okay, then you need to know where is data stored. For example, is it in Microsoft Excel? Is it a CSV file, or what form of data is it? And then what are different tools that you can utilize to ask questions? Okay, now let's take a look at these question examples that are added in. The first one, which aspect does it relate to? How does the bank assess the riskiness of loan it might make to you? So it is related to banking system where we have a loan risk assessment. Okay, so we are trying to determine, we have got lots of loan applications. Okay, so people are applying to purchase properties or to purchase vehicles or to purchase certain products. But we need to look at, okay, if this is for home loan, we are looking at home loan applications. We need to determine how likely is that these people will successfully pay off. Okay, what are the parameters? So we learn from the previous experiences. We look at our data set that someone having, let's say, the number of dependents, does that define whether they are better able to pay off? Okay, or the number of the amount of household income, does that define whether they can easily pay off or not? Okay, so we look at those attributes, that whether it is number of people at home, the number of dependents, household income, number of people who are employed. Okay, so what are those factors that will help you to pay off? So they look at the credit history, okay, the financial situations and the other factors of the previous loan recipients. So it means we are storing that information somewhere, because whenever you process the loan application, you are storing that information somewhere, and then you are getting their mortgage processed term by term or block by month, by every month or fortnight. So you have that record whether they are paying off smoothly or they had issues, they had to end up not paying off and then terminate their loan application. Okay, so what went wrong? Was it the number of dependents? Was it the household income that went to zero? Or what happened? What went wrong? And based on those statistics, you can compare. And it's not only even you, rather they run the algorithm and they check whether it is fair enough to approve or disapprove. And then the people who are applying for loan application, they will not even get into trouble, because they know that, okay, system has checked those parameters and our application lacks on this particular parameter, so we need to work around on this one, and then we will come back. Or if it gets approved, it gets approved. Okay, then there is an example of how does Amazon know which books and other products to recommend to you when you log into their website. Okay, so even if you do not log into their website, if you are done with one purchase, they will start giving you certain options that someone who bought this also bought. If you bought a laptop, someone who bought a laptop, they also bought headset, headphone or camera or mouse or ergonomic keyboard or something like that. So they start providing you with certain options. So how do you think does it work? So they look at the data that's already being done. So the people who are buying those products, they keep storing the information that someone who buys this item will be interested in this one as well. So if you are searching for laptops on Amazon, it will keep giving you the options that this one is on sale. This is a bet, although you're not interested in Lenovo, but they will start. You are interested in Apple, but they will keep bombarding you with Lenovo and all other options as well, that it's going to work around. So again, they are relying on that data set that they have. Okay. Then we have, how do airlines, they determine what price to quote to you when you are shopping for a aeroplane ticket. Okay. So how does it work around that in December, the tickets are really expensive, or in July when there are holidays, school holidays particularly, why do they get those tickets expensive? Because they are learning from previous expenses, previous experiences, that everyone will be happy to fly out in December because it is a break time, or during the holidays, this is the peak period. They define those on peak and off peak periods, and then they define the fares. Again, they rely on data set that is mentioned here. So Amazon we looked at, and the airlines. So forecasts and the input optimization algorithms, they have helped a lot, and this has really helped airlines to generate better revenues. Okay, trying to make passenger life better, but at the same time, um, obviously they have to look at their better profits, their better profit margins. Now, doctor's diagnosis. Obviously, machine cannot be a doctor, but machine can be fed with data that someone coming up with these symptoms, they will have this particular disease. But some of the occasions where it has been successfully working is, one of the occasion is that of if you have a BMI range that's not healthy, if you are having the age bracket, gender, and all of those information, if you put that in, it will tell you how likely is that you are at a risk of getting heart attack or having high cholesterol levels or certain other diseases. So and they will tell you the precautions, like either you reduce you adjust your diet or you move around. That's one of the challenging part. So again, data is there, AI is there to help us, but the problem is the time. We need to invest that time. Okay, so you can see how data analytics, it's going to help around different domains. Um, it's not only airlines or shopping or banking, it's spread across, because the point where you generate data, once data is generated, it is stored somewhere. They do not throw it into the bin. They keep that data safe somewhere so that we can analyze this. We can ask certain questions from this data set. So that's the whole crux of this course. That's what you have to do. You have to select one of those domains that you need to work around. Okay, so you need to select whether you have to pick up data set from airlines, from banking system, from consumer behavior. Okay, or it could be from the medical sciences, from the medicine or um, disease diagnostics. Okay, but how do you get access to data set? I will tell you how to do that, because I will let you create accounts onto Kaggle. Okay, and then from Kaggle we will look at how to analyze. But you understand the concept, how data is coming along, and uh, we have an objective that we need to ask certain questions from the data set. So let's look at the definition of the data analytics. You can see you have to first of all look at the data, try to understand what does it tell. Okay, so data analysis, it's process of inspecting. So first of all, you will look at the data set, you will cleanse that. If you see some of the blank fields, for example, or null values that are not required, then you need to remove them, get rid of them. Then you have to transform or change the data in a way that which dimensions are you interested in, which particular attributes do you think they are crucial for your analysis, and then you can model and you can get your findings from that data. While you're trying to discover that useful information, but first of all, you should know what is that useful information that you are looking for. Okay, then you can ask data set and then get the answers from by using certain tools. And ultimately, obviously, it's going to help you in better decision making. Okay, for example, airlines, they monitor that okay, everyone travels in December. Um, and we get lots of consumers. We initially they attempted by adding number of flights. Okay, even by adding number of flights, they could not uh, fulfill that thing. Then, as the demand has increased, you are MBA students, so they increased that supply, but still it was not matching. So the issue was okay, let's increase the price. Okay, but why and how? So we have data, we know that this thing is going to happen like this, then better plan beforehand. Now, in the context of business, Kemp et al. Has put up this definition. It is a scientific process. So it involves those IT technologies, IT tools that will be involved to convert data into insights for making better decisions. So insights are the findings. Okay, so that one of the insight for airlines is that people travel during holidays. Okay, one of the insight for your medical diagnostic, we are trying to figure out what causes heart attack. Is one of the key cause is excessive weight gain and not having healthy diet, for example, or these are one of those parameters um, that were reflected by the patients who came in for the past 5 years. They had these attributes. So let's figure out how to get rid of those particular attributes. So that makes an impact, that makes a finding that how can we improve to get the better decisions. So doctors can suggest that yes, you have to lose weight, you have to walk around, you have to build certain muscle mass. So business analysis, it is used for data-driven or fact-based decision making, which is often seen as more objective than other alternatives for decision making. Why it is objective? Because it's not somebody is feeling like this will happen. It is because we have experience, we have data that is telling us. So it is not me translating certain observations. Rather, we are looking at the data, and your tool is telling us that the data tells us that these are the insights that are coming in from the data sets. Okay, so they are not um, biased. They are not coming in from one particular individual. Rather, they are pretty objective. They have an objective. They're coming along from the previous data set that we have collected from experience. Data science, it's a set of fundamental principles that guide the extraction of knowledge from the data. Now, data mining is quite we will continue to talk about it. It's not, even one line definition won't be enough, as mining refers to extraction, like you are digging down something. So data mining is that you have got lots and lots of data files in the form of data cubes. That's another terminology. For example, if I give you the example for chain of stores, you can pick up Woolworth or Coles. Imagine number of transactions that are done here at Town Hall Woolworth. Okay, so and the number of transactions that are done across different suburbs uh, that are metro of the Sydney area. Okay, the number of transactions would be way larger, okay, in thousands across each chain of stores. Okay, so if we collect all of that, we cannot process it at one time for the purpose of analysis. So if I need to determine how many bottles of milk are sold across, let's say, 5 locations, that would be humongous. Okay, so it will be hard for us to extract that data. So what we do is we create data cubes. Cubes means data cube will have a limited number of rows in that data set. So let's say, let's create a cube for 10,000 records. Okay, so once 10,000 transactions are done, one cube is built and it is kept somewhere else. So there is a data cube 1, cube 2, cube 3. So you can go through all of those cubes to get the answer that how many are done for one particular product, if that product is common across all cubes. Okay, so one of the common examples that we discuss with the students at this point is, for example, you go to, let's say, Target, you get certain outfits. Okay, you got a winter jacket. Okay, and then you left it in your wardrobe, it's untouched, but you never got a chance. It continued to remain sunny and warm. You did not get a chance to wear until 2 weeks are over, and then once you put on, you realize it's too tight or too big for me. I need to get it sorted. I need to exchange that. You go back to Target and you tell them, okay, I have a receipt. I got it from here. And even the person from whom you purchased individual is pretty much there, but you cannot exchange. Why? Because the exchange policy says that you have to be here in, let's say, 2 weeks. If they had 2 weeks, I don't know what is their exchange policy, but let's say if it is 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever the exchange policy duration is, you're going after that time, and then you want to get it exchanged. Okay, the person who sold that to you, the customer service provide that individual recognizes you, and they tell you that yes, we know that you have bought it from here, but we cannot. Okay, why does it happen? Why they cannot exchange, although it is not being used? Okay, if you bought milk, butter, and eggs, the next day you will go back for exchange. Obviously, you did not put them in refrigerator, and you take it back to Woolworth and you tell them that they are not, they do not taste good. Obviously, that's understandable. It's a fresh product. You were supposed to refrigerate it under certain temperature conditions. Since you did not put it, we cannot exchange. You are supposed to be responsible for your things, right? That's understandable. But what about that jacket that you did not use, even it has the price tag on? It was just left in your shelf, and then you brought it back and they are not able to change. Why? Exchange.
Every organization have such as already settled some parameters for the exchange policy.
Right. So how does it work? Why do you think they define? If sometimes it is 2 weeks, sometimes it is 10 days, sometimes it is 1 month. Okay. And it's just the same product, let's say something that will not rotten like eggs or butter.
They make this decision from the link of this subject point of view.
Mhm.
They make these decisions from the previous data.
Data. So data is important,
Yeah,
right?
from the
The reason-
databases they have from the previous year or the previous few months or
That's correct. So
season.
yeah, so exactly. So that's what you're thinking in the exact right direction. So basically the person whom they will tell you that we cannot exchange because we don't have data in our system now. Because
For example, season have been over.
yeah, okay.
Many
Yeah.
kind of the other reasons like that.
But usually once they have 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the reason is because they remove the data from their point of sale to that data cube is formed in 10 days or in 15 days and it is transmitted somewhere else. So they don't have access to that data set and then they cannot exchange. Okay. That's one of the key thing for something that does not
And he
have a
have
life
already
expectancy.
received. And he have already received. The customer who have purchased, he have already received.
Yes.
This is the biggest example, proof of his.
Evidence is there.
Yeah.
Evidence is there. They do have bank transactions nowadays. You can reflect on bank transactions as well. But the policy states that they don't have the data set because in order to process the refund or the exchange, they require that row in Excel. Okay, they require that data in their record. So once they pack this data, okay, so once they define, okay, for example, target has 2 weeks, let's say. So after 14 days, they will remove the data set for all previous transactions that are done in last 2 weeks. They will move it to the server. So for example, they have Target has outlets all across Sydney, all across NSW, Western Australia,
Yeah.
South.
And they
So-
will definitely.
So they create those data cubes and they put it somewhere and they discard those parameters that can help you to exchange because they remove the customer details.
And they will definitely have some already described policy regarding this.
Yeah, this is why they put it as return policy and they highlight when they are selling the product, they remind you that you can return, exchange and return or just return.
Some items are like already for clearance or it's like actually phased out already. That's why they don't
Yeah,
want that.
yeah, sometimes, yeah, that's another business objective. Yeah, that's correct. So if it is on clearance, we will not get it back. Yeah, and your other point was also valid that certain season they have to put those products in. After that, they're not responsible. Maybe that also comes along. But one of the key aspect because they cannot, although the customer is coming with evidence and they apologize, we cannot because they don't have access to the data set, and that's part of the data mining because those data are converted into cubes. Cubes means they are converted in a format that's not transaction oriented. Now it becomes just for the purpose of analysis that how many customers bought white jackets in the month of July or June. Okay, so they will discard certain parameters for customer, maybe credit card details or those aspects they will be discarded for the purpose of security. And they will keep certain aspects that will continue to help them for the purpose of knowledge discovery. Okay, for the purpose of, okay, how many are sold in Sydney? Okay, how many are sold in Brisbane, in Perth? So they need to figure out and they need to learn from the data set itself. Ubiquity of data means data is present everywhere. We have a digital world. So when we talk about big data, that's exactly when we are collecting data set from all aspects and we are placing those data cubes in certain drawers in certain locations. That's the concept of big data that we will talk about. High processing speeds are required, brilliant algorithms, and we get better insights because we are having data coming in from the big data set. decision making, it's going to help you at the managerial level. And the type of the managerial decisions could be strategic, tactical, operational. Okay. Strategic means we have to look at the strategy across a period of time, across a particular time period, while tactical means they are being done on daily basis, on routine activities, plus kind of a period oriented, while operation is the routine task. Okay. So for example, MBA 909 is offered in semester 2. So this is quite operational task that we have class scheduled in this particular room. Okay. But tactical would be the MBA students, do they need to study data analysis? Do we have to let them study data analysis? Okay. We are letting them study for the past like couple of semesters, and we have seen certain job aspects where our students have successfully utilized the tools of Tableau or the rapid miner that they learn, and then they deploy that in the industry. Okay. Strategic would be they will look at certain uh, at the industry level and at the top hierarchical level, that how many students they really deployed those concepts, and do we have how many units do we have in the stream of data analysis, okay, or analytics and research based units, and then they will figure out. So strategic decisions are usually implemented across couple of years. They are not implemented starting from tomorrow. Okay. Tactical would be across couple of semesters, let's say, or relatively shorter durations as compared to strategic, maybe 6 months or a year or 2 years. Operational would be immediate. Okay. So we are having MBA 909 classes where we have got these number of students. So we need to add another unit, let's say. So we need to start get it operational within this semester. So we have to conduct the class within week 1. If we do not, then we have to move it to the first semester of the year 2027. Okay, that would be operational decision. Or another operational decision would be that we are conducting the classes face to face. Now we have COVID. We have to do it in a hybrid mode starting from tomorrow. So that's one of the operational decision that will have to be made based on the organizational needs, based on organizational demands. So, yeah.
How database is helping in the managerial decision in the domain of the operational decisions? It's not clear where.
So strategic, this is where the top managerial roles they come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tactical.
Operational is where top management are informed. Okay. For example, how many flights do we have to schedule for coming Sunday from Sydney to Melbourne? It depends on how many bookings are we getting. Okay, how many consumers have booked in. So if, for example, Jetstar, they will make an operational decision that we require instead of 3, let's make it 4. Let's inform all the passengers that these are the flight timings. That would be operational decision. Plus, one of the passenger in the flight was not happy because someone was not well. There was hygiene issues within the cabin, so they were not satisfied by the flight performance. A very angry customer came along. That's an operational decision. Okay, we need to work around the cleanliness starting from immediately the next flight. Okay, we need to implement that immediately. Okay, but tactical decisions would be, is it okay to have 3 flights, or shall we increase it to 7, 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening, and 1 in the afternoon? Or do we need to change the timing? So that's again technical, that for next couple of weeks, let's make these flights open so that consumers can book in. Okay. But strategic would be, do we require flights from Sydney to Melbourne or not? Okay. Or do we require more number of flights from Sydney to Brisbane? Or do we have to get Jetstar working as an airline or not? Okay, because we are not
short
sure.
term based data is helping in the operations.
Yeah.
And
This is
helping in the
either based on months or years. That's technical. But the involvement of obviously operational management will be just checking up all the operational tasks are okay. Is there any finding that we should know of? Or they might not be informed of any finding as well because everything went smooth. But tactical, they will managerial decisions will be involved. Strategic management will be fully involved. Okay. And operational will just inform that this is what we did, this is what we have achieved. These are the number of happy customers, sad customers. So this has happened. So deal with it. Okay. But strategic, obviously top notch, they have to make decisions. So they require more details how things happened. Okay. So that's the streams. Any questions from here? Now, decision making, regardless of level within the firm, decision making can be defined as following processes. We need to identify and define the problem. We have to determine what criteria do we require to sort this with the alternative solutions. Set of alternative solutions that are available, we evaluate them, and then we choose one alternative that would suit the conditions, whether the current circumstances or for future circumstances. Okay, so you need to understand these steps, and that's exactly what you have to deploy in your decision making for your assessment 3. This is an example of IBM Watson. I would highly encourage that you watch it. We will do that during the tutorial time here as well. Watson, they had high-speed data processing, analytical algorithms, and lots of data is collected. The objective was to determine from that data set and to recommend those solutions rather than a single solution. So that was the objective for Watson. Now, when we look at the analytical methods, there are 5 modes of analysis that are described here. Okay, I would just discuss the descriptive one. We will continue with the rest in the next session. Okay, next week as well. Descriptive is where you get the data and you start looking at what does this data describe. Okay, so if I give you a data file that has got your student IDs, first name, last name, your section code, your student emails, and I have got 12 columns where I need to record week 1 attendance, week 2, week 3, week 4. So what do you call this data file? That would be your attendance file. It contains student names. So descriptive statistics would be how many students are in the class, how many students are in one particular section, how many are attending. So towards the end, how many attended all 12 sessions, how many missed those 12 sessions, how many missed 50% of the attendance. So that is describing the data, that what has happened for the past days, months, and years, because we will be able to analyze that once those 12 sessions are done, 12 classes are done, and then we can analyze that, okay, we had 50% attendance. What was the pass rate? Did all the 50% they were successful or not? Okay.
Is it will be right if we say that descriptive data mode of data mostly help in the operational scenes?
Yeah, it is coming in from operational. It is directly the first point of descriptive would be collection from the how many.
Because mostly operational decisions are based on the primary data.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's correct. So it is coming in from the operational side. It is the key point where we are collecting the data, and then we are looking at the data, we are describing that data set. So descriptive analytics is when we are describing, we are just describing how many students are there, how many attended full classes, how many did not
How
attend.
many transactions are?
Yeah, yeah. So in real time, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, it's a bit of slightly different dimensions of analysis are involved. We will continue with this one, but you should know what is meant by the descriptive analytics, where we are describing that how many records are there and what is happening in that particular data set. Okay. So I think we will continue from here in the next class, because predictive and prescriptive, I'm going to differentiate in week 2 as well. So any questions so far? Okay. Any doubts? Right. So I will let you take a quick break here, and then we will continue with your tutorial task. Is topic 1 visible to everyone here? So you have week 1 tutorial and airline data. Just keep that in your downloads. Make sure you have got it downloaded, and we will continue with your week 1 tutorial activity. I will stop recording here.